YouTube, what the crap is going on? Welcome back to Grom's fart campaign. Now remember, fart, in the context of this campaign, stands for food art. Yes, so we're going to continue the campaign for food art. Welcome back. It's been too long. I apologize. It's been a busy, long while. Things should be getting back to normal for me. I'm super excited to jump back in. I love this campaign. Some people probably don't think I don't like it, just because I really like the gun campaign right now, and I do. The gun campaign is absolutely fantastic. If you haven't watched it, you definitely need to go give it a shot. But no, I love this one also. It just takes longer to record. I should probably try not to do as many of these in the future, at least all at once. Or maybe I could start recording one and just record it and try and get the whole thing finished and released. The only bad thing then is I couldn't respond to comments, but hey, at least you'd get the whole campaign in a more timely manner. Anyway, excited to be back. Grom has flogged me for taking too long to be back. We were busy building a new army, and we had a great suggestion for Oglok the Horrible for what his name is going to be. And this comes from our very own Jarl of the Appian Way, who helps me a ton on my Discord. He's one of the moderators there, helped found it, and he does content of his own that's really pretty darn entertaining. I like it. We're going to be naming our new Lord Cannibal Daka, and he's going to be from Carthage. So here's the story. It says on the northern, and this is from Appius. He says on the northern coast of Araby, there's a tale of a great orc war boss, Cannibal Daka, who led his of Carthage in a bloody campaign against the Empire, crossing the mountains through Astalia to take his boars and trolls to the very gates of the Empire. Surely he has caught the attention of Grom, who appreciates any orc who could be bold enough to eat all of his challengers. So there we go. This is Cannibal Daka of Carthage. So I have to applaud Appius for coming up with an epic character. This is fantastic. So definitely appreciate him doing that. Now, there was other people, like one person wanted me to name a shaman after like a chef, like the chef of the Ponce. And then someone else had this idea, which I think fits for a chef's name. And so we're going to use this. So we're going to name our orc shaman Guts the Gastromancer. It won't fit all there, but we'll just put Guts here and the Gastromancer. So I think this is how you spell Gastromancer. Anyway, there's Guts the Gastromancer. So we now have named him, and also a very nice idea. I liked this one, so appreciated people pitching that one in. Now, someone else suggested that we name our main lord Buttlock the Horrible. And I just like that name so much that I'm going to rename this guy to that. So this is going to be Buttlock the Horrible. And we're going to do it in greenskin fashion. So I just like that name. So this works for me. People do have some names that they want to have for boars. And then people also have suggested some names for when we take over some vampire lands. We got some really nice suggestions. And people really seem to like the Owl Fart. And there were some other funny suggestions for that, which were very great and definitely appreciated. We got a lot going on. It's going to get a little crazy here with the Empire. We definitely need to get Scrappius the Spider Git back up here to help. He's busy like wiping out the stunties. So he definitely needs to come back here and up. There could be dwarf stacks around, and he needs to be careful. He should be able to take on any of those dwarf stacks, but if he were to get damaged and then have to fight a dwarf stack, it could be bad, right? So we do need to just be a little bit careful with them. We don't have a good place to train boars right off the bat here. Well, I say that. We're working on training the boars here. But as far as what's available, we already have squig herds available at the Tittlemunch's lair. And we also have an Arachnarok spider. And remember that this army is going to be all about speed for the most part. So what we're going to do is, since it's going to be 3 turns before these boars are ready to go, we're going to go ahead and move to Tittlemunch's lair, and we'll go ahead and start training in some different troops while we finish the boar pens. And that should allow us to do the recruiting that we need to. We need to get that army ready, because like I said, obviously we're going to be pressured by the Empire, who is going to do their best to fight back. But I mean, how do you fight back against Grom's Wa? It's beyond immense. It's beyond immense. There's really just no point. They need to just forget about it. Blacktooth's Revenge. Discover 12 recipes. So we're still working on that. Unlock all the cooking slots. Working on that. Razor sack 10 different settlements belonging to the High Elves. We'll get there. A dish, something mucky. Okay, so if we do cook, this is what we need to cook. And someone told me that when we do cook for the hag, the special ingredient that she wants, so something mucky, you know, like maybe like this ectoplasm or monster goo, it has to go into the main ingredient, not one of the side ingredients like I did it last time. We got the weird T-posing witch hunter here. See if we can kill him. I don't know if we'll be lucky enough to pull that off. I think our other agent is still wounded. Yeah, he is. The salty stabba is wounded. Gazpacho, the stabby salter, sorry. Look, Balthasar's got some guns. It's not as good as my gun army, but you know, we're proud of him for at least trying. Let's see, Bride of the Gut has some skill points here. It looks like we were finishing up some of her magic prowess. Never hurts to have some good Purple Sun, and then Fate of Buna the next time we get the opportunity. There's going to be a bunch of places that we can build up to a higher tier. I'm going to hold off on most of these at the moment because I just don't think it's a necessary... Well, you know, we'll do it at one place. We'll spend it at Karak Krumpt. And let's see, at the Reek Land, we have minimal defenses, but we can't really build it up any higher at the moment. Looks like we've got Grom acting like he's a small mountain, seeing if we can trick the Empire up here, so that should be good. And that makes it time to end our turn here. Alright, the humies are doing a good job of continuing to retake Humi Pate, which just continues to make more Humi Pate for us, so I appreciate this. Alright, well, to no big surprise to any of us, Grom's ambush was foiled. I mean, he does get away with this every now and then, but sometimes whenever you approach and you're like, hey, I don't remember this town having a mountain in it. You know? Just works that way sometimes. Makes it very hard in order to gain some advantage that way. I wonder, the auto resolve looks like it would treat us good here. But you know what? Grom hasn't dished out a beatdown on camera in a while, so let's do so. It's time for a good savage beating here. I don't know what kind of a name Volgar Dog Burglar is, but Grom's got some angry dogs pulling him straight towards Volgar. I'm gonna go pay him a visit. He's hiding back here in the trees, as he should. The immense Grom just peels through all of his forces and comes in and immediately starts putting a massive beating on him. And speaking of massive beating, here comes Dewa. Never far behind. Their glorious leader. His immensity always pushing them onwards, looking to drive them to be the best gobos they can be. I love these snotling wagons, they look so cool. Anyway, Defishy Tittlemuncha is going to spin up a Purple Sun, which is something the humies just always seem to enjoy. We've already summoned up Black Tooth's Revenge, and we're going to have Defishy Tittlemuncha charge in here and start dishing out the bag battering. And the Empire is in some pretty big trouble. Some pretty big trouble. Now, old Dog Burglar, I guess, was scared of Grom and thought it might be a better idea to fight Black Tooth's Revenge, and we'll see how that goes for him. He's a very gutsy, or rather stupid fellow. We can make one of those two assumptions. Gonna have the stone trolls and the river trolls here bashing their way through this flank of the infantry. And then you can see that the Emperor's Wrath is here, but it hardly even seems wrathful. In fact, I have some Harpy Teeth ammunition to feed it. This will be double the Gobbo arrows, smashing into the steam tank. And the human army is pretty much in full retreat at this point. They've been utterly smashed. You can see in the center, they're broken. An old Dog Burglar here is still acting like that he can do something. I mean, this unit is summoned. I'm surprised he lived this long. That certainly can't have felt good. Look at this, he's not even routing. It's kind of a shame on me kind of moment that he's not even routing, but one way or the other, he's not going to last too much longer. Got some snotling wagons coming over. You can see Demulcha is over here mulching his way through another enemy flank. So the human army is literally split in two, much like most of them will be after this battle's over, and the only thing that's left really is the Emperor's Wrath. And like I said, it doesn't exactly feel terribly wrathful at the moment. as it's being shut down with Harpy Teeth ammunition. It's a little bit of a range here, so it won't do as good. We'll have to move our Gobbo archers up, and then I'm going to move a couple more units in this direction. Gonna fast forward for a minute as I move those units this way. I've got Grom and Fishy Tittlemuncha headed this way. She's going to do a long-range spirit leeching, and the Gobbo archers will be well in range now too, and should be able to be a lot more accurate with their shots. And then we've got the Patchy the Stabber here, and he's gonna stab. He's never gotten to stab. I don't know if he's gotten to stab a steam tank before, but he definitely appreciates getting new things to stab. There you go, folks. That's the end of the Emperor's Wrath. Seriously, though, folks, Vulgar Dog Burglar. That's like vulgar dog burger, almost. Sounds delicious. Sounds like something that Grom would really appreciate, and it's a good thing he died at Humi Pate, because now we can make said burger out of Mr. whatever his face was. I mean, he's already been forgotten. He's just not very impressive. Not very impressive. So, Fishy Tittlemuncha has leveled up. Let's finish her expeditious endeavors. Having her be faster is never a bad thing. She gets around pretty quick for being such a well-proportioned troll. I'll say it that way, okay? We don't want to offend Fishy Tittlemuncha.
They won't feel a thing, which is a pity.
Assassinate is a failure. How many more turns is our boy hurt? Gazpacho's back in 3 turns. Okay. We've ended the turn here, which means we can start some recruiting here. We're definitely going to need a couple of Arachnarok spiders. We have access to a rogue idol, too, but remember, this army is about speed. So we're going to stick with the Arachnaroks, and let's see. Let's get several squig herds, and then we can bring a lot of boars in to finish things off. So the squig herds are, not a particularly powerful unit, but they're quick, and they do a lot of damage. And then with the charge bonus the way it is right now, they're going to be a lot of fun. A whole lot of fun, I might add. Let's see. What we need to do next. The Empire has a lot of armies around. I wish I could go into an ambush stance. I'm guessing that Alfart is going to get retaken again on this next turn. Canceling the repair of this. Hang on, wait. Cancel. Why is it going to take 6 turns? Seems like a long time to repair such a crappy little town. Oh well. Have we talked to Grimgor yet? I want to say we had started talking to this guy. I'd love to confederate him, but we may have to bash his skull in first. So we'll see, but at least he's fighting with the Dawi over there. This is definitely what we need him to do. Definitely what we need him to do. I think there's probably not a whole lot else we need to do other than move Scrappiest to Spider Git. And speaking of Scrappy, let's redestroy this dwarf settlement here. And we do have quite a bit of scrap, and let's start giving Scrappiest' army some scrap, starting here with his biggest and baddest. We got the Paunch Guard. Longer weapons gives him a bonus versus large, and these guys probably are already like crazy good against infantry. Kind of makes sense to just give him the longer weapons. And let's do that with both of these units. And we'll save some scrap for the next time. We can issue a WA. I want you all to go vote specifically, and I'll try and leave a comment on this where you can do it, specifically about whether the WA should go against Koron or whether it should go against Karl Has. So those are our 2 options. I honestly hate to do a WA because we got such a good trophy off of the humies. We really want to fight someone with a really high skill rank. Koron's, look, we'd get a pretty good trophy from beating these guys. So Koron would be good, and Karl Has wouldn't be bad either because it's in the top 10. So either one, but you all go look for the comment that I leave there, and you should be able to go ahead and begin voting on that. I know there's buildings I can build, but just some of them, they're not going to make a huge difference at the moment, so I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about it. We're going to do some Camp Ruckus here, and then Arguelon and some of these others, just not in a hurry to upgrade these. Not really going to be, might as well just save the money for now. Well, look at this. Karl Franz thinks that he can take over Humeburger Helper, which is a greenskin fort. I beg to differ, and I think the Emperor will make himself a foolish stand here. Let's see. So Karl Franz thinks he can retake Humeburger Helper. What used to be their fort is now mine, And anything that the Empire can do, Grom can do much better and much larger. And you're going to see that here as my Doom Diver catapults and towers start unleashing a bunch of doom all over the Imperial forces. I kind of almost hate saying Imperial forces. It sounds like this really proper title, and I just don't know that the humies have really done much to earn said title. They just don't seem to be very good. Here comes the Doom Divers. Be smashing into these archers. Whew, some nice trajectory there. So as the humies approach the wall with their pitiful spearmen, they'll be met by the biggest and artist of the boys, the Black Orcs. And remember, folks, that black is the new green. Apparently these guys didn't get the message about green because they're wearing red and blue, so I don't know what the color coordination thing is going on with the greenskins here. May need to be improved over time. Yeah, you can see the humies' attempt to take the walls is being met with some extreme DACA and some stiff resistance. Speaking of DACA, I guess Karl has decided that the DACA is a little too much for him. He's going to come try and stop it. But I've got some orc biggins who are excited to go use their bigger weapons against Karl. So we're going to go swamp him on the walls, which is perfectly fine. Not a good place for him to be fighting against units who have a bonus versus large, and you can see the spearmen kind of coming over one by one just to be chopped down by the enormous two-handed axes of my Black Orcs. So the fight not going particularly well for the Humie scum, and the biggins over here also keeping them pinned up against the wall. They're making very little progress. I've got the archers backed up now. They can help open fire. I'm going to use my trolls to try and bash my way through these spearmen who are assaulting the gates and get out to the soft, squishy archers on the outside and put an end to them, because they are really the only thing probably causing any damage to me, and it's not real significant damage, but it's damage. Nonetheless, if we take a look at the Emperor, not dying, you know, super quick because it's just orc biggins going after him, and he does have a little bit of infantry support now too, but you know, his days are numbered. You can see here that my Black Orcs are just slaughtering enemy infantry. Look at this, 54 kills and climbing, 28 here. These biggins are already about to get 50 kills as well, so nothing's gonna stop the boys from winning this fight. You see that there are going to be some more humies trying to get up the walls over here. It is just as futile as it is for their friends across the way. There is just no easy place for the humies to get onto the wall, and now they're getting hit with the wah. See Karl trying to do some of his fancy moves here, but he's starting to lose a pretty fair number of hit points and being weakened considerably, which is also going to affect the power bar, and you can see that my trolls and boars are nearing a breakthrough, and now what was a siege battle kind of turns into the opposite, as the humies would have loved to keep my forces inside the walls. Things were already going very poorly for them, and now my fast-moving troops are pouring outside the walls, and the already beleaguered archers are going to be assaulted by a bunch of clubbing trolls who just want to party. I mean, who can blame them? Partying with humies is just so much fun. All your food just right there with you. And then the boar boys, who are also looking forward to catching some fresh meat. Oh, these boars look awesome. Can't wait till we get our boar army. So yeah, Karl's army is in some pretty bad shape. He no longer has any archer support. His infantry is dying, and he is dying along with them. So Humeburger Helper is looking to become quite the fortress, and despite Karl's attempt here, he's nowhere near what it's going to take to actually take this fortress. Let's look at the kills here again. 63, 121 on that Black Orc, and then 118 on this Orc Biggin. And then these guys over here chopping their way through Franz. He is down to probably less than a quarter of his health. The spearmen were defeated over here. My artillery did a great job from up here on the walls, got a lot of kills, got rid of a lot of their archers until I could get outside of the gates and do it, and at this point, Karl's army has had enough, and they're going to have to quit. You know, I appreciate the Emperor bringing us some of the finest cuts of humi meat we could have. It'll all make an excellent grind. And then Humeburger Helper will, of course, live up to its name with some nice ground meat. It's delicious. Look at this, of course, while I'm gone and the garrison's not feeling good, here comes all Balthasar and Boris, and they bring all their rockets and fancy DACA. It's okay. Have your reclan back. I'll shortly retake it. Oh, and this clown wants I'll fart too. Have your fun. Have your fun, humies. Well, we can choose to have some extra teeth, or we can take a shiny helmet. You know, we have to pay a little more recruitment, but I mean, we got some cash right now. Now, we did lose a little. Assault garrisons. We got an absolute, like, just army of humi stink agents working against us. Let's see what we can do to continue to get rid of some of them. There we go. One down. Excellent. And let's see. Dynasty Skulka, probably. Stalker, campaign line of sight. Dodgy geezer. Let's do the nasty Skulker here. Continuing to use our agents. Apparently we need a lot more of them, because the humies have more than enough. I'm gonna drop by Destunti Food Bank. We could retake Night Soil, but Night Soil's not really that good for the humies at the moment. I kind of want to bypass it and go start hurting them a lot worse, like Altdorf. And of course, we could take Karak Hearn as well, since the Stunties is at war with us. But we want to be careful. We just need to make sure that we're very smart with the way that we run our attacks right now, to ensure that we are going to not get caught out in a bad position, essentially. As long as we do that, we should be good. We're waiting on our spiders to finish recruiting here. Massive Guts, one turn away from having the Borstai that we need. And looks like Buttlock de Orrible has picked up a skill point of his own. We're going to go ahead and start pouring that into training and get him started. Let's see, we do have a decent amount of scrap. We're earning 10 scrap per turn, plus whatever we get from battles. It looks like Alfart was just raided, so we can try and fix it up a little. I'm gonna try and turn Grom into a small mountain once again, and use him as bait to see if we can get the humies to come after Humi Pate, which will appear to be unguarded. So we'll see whether they notice this new geographical feature here that Grom has become in order to try and trick them. So here we go. Well, again, not surprisingly, Grom's ambush was foiled by one of the nearly 4,000 agents that the humies have in the area, but something was a little more surprising and utterly ridiculous, which is that the fishy Tittlemuncher was wounded by a humi agent. Tell me how that's even possible. How does he wound something that would have just bag-battered him to death? It doesn't, or how did he even get close enough without gagging on the stench? You see, CA, this is just not, this doesn't hold the lore. Anyway, Balthasar Gelt is bringing his rockets, and Conroy Huss, and they really feel proud of themselves. So let's give them a little present for what they did. This is for Fishy. Where the Emperor failed, the Supreme Patriarch hopes to succeed, and he brings his two armies together, thinking that 2 is a number immense enough to stop Grom, which is kind of laughable. And even though his cheating agents managed to wound the fishy Tittlemuncher, which is impossible, we all know that that logic just doesn't work. I mean, you can't wound something that you can't get close to because of the stench. Grom just plows right in, completely unworried about these filthy humies, and disrupts their army, while my main forces charge in. They are outnumbered, but we're not really scared. The humies will fight here, and they'll fight about the best that we've seen them fight so far. They've got multiple rocket launchers. It's like an MLRS going on back here, multiple launch rocket system, or whatever it is. But my Gabos have a multiple Harpy Teeth ammunition system that seems to have them matched out. So we're going to start chopping our way through some of these rockets back here, and at the same time damaging some of these other units. You can see our trolls clubbing their way through the flanks, and Amulcha is making his way up to help as well. Balthasar continues to summon all kinds of pain. And if you check it out over here, Patchy got some good stabbing in on Balthasar. and my trolls are going to be able to make it through the lines now. Patchy would love to stab the Supreme Patriarch to death. It would please him greatly, in fact. But the Supreme Patriarch is a coward and takes off running. So the first rocket launcher's down, and now the second. There's only one left, so the firepower of the Empire has been cut down to size significantly. You can see the Empire slow to use its cavalry on the flanks, and now my trolls have made it into their back lines and will begin to pressure the guns and archers that are so badly needed by the Empire in order to succeed. And despite having taken some rocket damage, my archers proved that they have superior firepower to rockets, and my gobos have superior healing thanks to the delicious cooking of the great boss Grom. And over here you can see that these stone trolls are just holding the flank, while the swamp things here, actually they probably have their own name, yeah, the Ghostbusters are in here helping to bust up the Imperial infantry. Grom is back here taking out the last of the rocket launchers, so there's no more rockets. He's getting all kinds of meat to fill the cauldron. You can see the Mulcha back here throwing his rocks into the fight, because why not? Looks like his target's back here. Looks like he's driven them from the battlefield. Balthasar at this point is still alive, but of course running away, not wanting to fight, and who can blame him? He just can't wah like the great Grom, and you see Grom's wah going off now, which of course is healing all of his units, which are already mostly healing. Balthasar continues his bombardments, thinking that it's somehow going to save him, and decides to land near, or almost lands near, Patchy the Stabba, and you can see that Patchy is ready for some stabbing, and just wishing that Balthasar would come down and give it to him. Not much left of the humies at this point. Their cavalry's being driven off, their infantry's being driven off. Balthasar decides to land, and Patchy the Salty Stabba gets his opportunity to stab down the Supreme Patriarch. He got some practice stabbing something metal earlier in this episode by stabbing the Emperor's Wrath, and here he's going to get the opportunity to stab Balthasar, who is just a squishier bunch of metal than the Emperor's Wrath. And there you go, Patchy the Salty Stabba adds a wizard to his list of those whom he has stabbed, and that is going to be the end of Balthasar's army. These guys got boiled in the pot, even when I didn't have my giant troll unleashing purple suns, doom and darkness, and summoning extra Blacktooth's revenge on him, okay? None of that stuff was even here, and they still lost.
Gets in the ground.
Losers. Alright. Wounding the fishy tittle muncher. What a joke. Hope they liked what they got in return for wounding my tittle muncher. It probably won't work, but actually I'm not going to worry about laying an ambush. We're just going to get discovered. I'm just going to garrison Humi Pate so that we can replenish as quick as we can here. Wait on the fishy tittle muncher's return. In the meantime, let's see if we can assassinate any more of these Humi agents.
Snakey kill.
You know, I just really need you to do more killing, Porco, okay? It's very important that you do more killing. Okay? Kill. All them. Now. We got a little more scrap. There's some stunty armies here.
Anything you say.
I'm gonna lay a little ambush here for the stunties. See if we can catch Grombrindle, the white dwarf, and prove that he's not a white dwarf, but he's actually yellow. As in, he can't fight. Scrap armor or weapon strength. I'm gonna go with armor. An extra 25 armor on these guys is gonna be pretty sick. So we'll do some scrap armor on these biggins. And save a little leftover scrap. Our army is still replenishing. Grom to Paunch gains another skill point. That puts him at 45. That's an immense number of skill points. Let's see, can Grom have enough charge? He's got his lightning strike. Really green. You know, the best way to... Yeah, so this would be like figuring out how to plant trees on top of Grom. And, you know, make him really actually look like a mountain. So I feel like out-clevering would be good. You know, kind of help on his disguise. So he can better blend in with the geography around him. Just seems to make sense. I'm gonna skip that, and time to end a turn. So Grimgor is wawing Karazakarak, which means we might want to just go for Koron. So many messages. So check this out. Baltasar must have killed Vlad because he's back with a whole new army after one turn. I am going to take his immensity over here near Eilfart, enter that ambush stance, and I'll see if we can get rid of this T-posing
Let's get stabby!
witch hunter there. We were successful. I guess his T-pose couldn't protect him against us. And, I mean, how could it? How could it? So Porco is getting some pretty serious work done. Gazpacho the Stabby Salta is back. And I feel like we should just start trying to assassinate more.
Let's get stabby!
He did fail. Let's make him better at stabbing. That should do. And then, let's see. Grombrindle did not come the direction of our ambush, but he is in range to attack. I think we should try and attack him and destroy his army here. Does have a couple of gyros and some artillery. It's giving him really good chances. Not sure I understand these chances, as he's going to get absolutely clobbered. And this might get Scrapius his Spida Shrine mount on top of all this. Outside Karak Ezor, the Dawi find themselves under the fire of the Hammer of Gork, which is targeting some fancy hammerers here. So the Hammer of Gork, hammering hammerers. Try and say that 3 times fast. Should be pretty entertaining for you. Now, the Dawi are also firing at my infantry with their artillery, but I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to cause at least as much damage to them as they do me, and then once my troops arrive, the amount of damage is only going to get higher. Look at these stunties trying to dodge my hammer. Sit still and take your hammer, and you filthy stunties. See that my army approaching in the distance, looking rather beautiful. It's going to look even better when Scrapius is on his catchweb shrine. These guys, they're artillery dodging. Bunch of AI gits. See Grombrindle here. He's known as the White Dwarf, but he's definitely going to have a yellow spine. There's no way he's going to stand up to Scrapius despite a git. Yes! Look at those hits on the hammers. And you can see they are firing at the Immortals and multiple other units here. The Dawi think that their wannabe Daka will be enough for them. They've even got some Iron Breakers over here thinking that throwing satchel charges at me will be enough to stop my army, and that's just not true. Because here comes the Spore Splodas. Yeah, nice try, Iron Breakers. Got the Arachnarok Queen and Debrided a Gut over here along with some trolls. And looks like the gyrocopters are trying to stop, but don't think that's going to happen. Got some itchy nuisance there in the middle. And the clubbing has begun, and then there's going to be a purple sun over here to help my troops clean up this flank quickly. And at this point, all of the Black Orcs and Orc Biggins have arrived on the scene, and a beatdown of the stunties is well underway. I had some light cavalry that started on a vanguard deployment, which has now arrived, and is making sure that the Thunderers cannot fall back to a new position to fire. And we got our Black Orc Big Boss out here, which is doing some pretty nice Ard-Ed face basha. Busy doing some good beatdowns himself into the back of these Dwarf Warriors. They do have Grombrindle's help now. They're unbreakable, at least for the moment. But unbreakable is kind of a flexible term, I think, as it applies to this battle, as these Dawi will be broken. Broken, battered, tenderized, and then later cooked. That Arachnarok Spider looks so good. I can't wait till we get the Catchweb Shrine. See our Black Orcs here chopping their way through these hammers. Our units will no doubt be extremely effective. They are set up with weapons to give them a bonus versus large, but their damage potential here against the stunties is just going to be very high. You see that a couple of stunty guns are attempting to get back here and set up, but they've been engaged by spider hatchlings. And meanwhile, over here, Grombrindle was ganged up on by Scrappius and the group, and they gave Grombrindle an epic beatdown. Alright, so if Scrappius gets his spider shrine from having scrapped Grombrindle, that'll be perfect.
The tribe's ready. What?
Make his story that much more impressive. So Grombrindle got punted, and indeed he did get his spider shrine mount here. Let's see here, Bright of the Gut. Let's finish Fate of Buna. Fate of Buna can be pretty good against certain units. Let's get Scarred Veteran. Eventually we'll want some immortality, but not there yet. We did gain some more scrap from that fight, so we could see what it costs to upgrade the Broken Tusk Mob, who gains an extra 15 armor and 15% speed. They've already got a bonus versus large, so let's give them the scrap saddles there. And then let's see about these spider riders. They've got scrap saddles also, or jagged weapons, which give them a bonus versus infantry. This is pretty tempting either way, but I'm gonna go with the jagged weapons. The bonus versus infantry could make them really solid against skirmishers that they're trying to clean up, or artillery crews, stuff like that. They could end up being extremely good. Looks like Guts to Gastromancer picks up a skill point, and we should keep working on the magic here. Fist of Gork is pretty good. Let's finish Brain Burster. That's definitely a fun one, and using it a lot is a pretty fun strategy as well. I'm gonna go underground back to Massive Gut, where we now have our boar pins. We can start the proper recruitment of the boars, and Grom here is waiting in ambush and just waiting the return of Defishy Tittlemuncha, who's got to wait 3 more turns. Well, of course, Balthasar returns on his first attempt, and like I said, that's probably because he's gone and killed off Vlad or something like that. You never know what he's gone and picked up in terms of collecting all the Pokemon Lord skills. So, not having learned his lesson the first time, I guess Karl thinks that he wants to have a second attempt at this, though this time he's brought the Sunmaker. But honestly, I don't think it's going to help him. He did pick up a Swords of Ulrich, but yeah, I don't know that he's a whole lot better positioned to do this, especially if we just fall back and protect the main keep. I think we can kill the Sunmaker from a distance with our own artillery, which has pretty good range, and the firing arc of the Sunmaker is not all that good despite its long range. Let's go ahead and fight this battle. Karl versus Humeburger Helper, take 2, or as we might say, the leftovers. So that's right, Karl didn't learn his lesson the first time. Our towers and Doom Divers are going to absolutely light up the Sunmaker. It thinks that it's one of the greatest artillery units, but it is going to be massively outgunned. And you can see that I've positioned my artillery to just directly challenge these units, and then my towers are also challenging it with their explosive shot. And at this point, the Sunmaker will be making no more suns. We still have to deal with a Stir River Patrol crossbowmen firing their flaming bolts at us. And there are quite a few archers. There's some Swords of Ulrich and some halberds, so at least Karl has brought a slightly better force this time, though our Daka on the walls is going to still be dishing out some pretty severe damage to the Imperial troops before they ever even engage us into melee. See that indeed the Sunmaker is no more. It's been utterly destroyed, so at least we know the Empire won't be using that against us for 10 turns, unless they have a way to cheat on that, which they very well might. The Stir River Patrol is going to be my next target with the Doom Divers. See, we get a pretty solid hit right there, taking out a fair chunk of them. And we're going to have a strategy that's going to be fairly similar to last time, except this time I'm going to pull my archers off the walls a little early in hopes that Karl will be stupid enough to come attack them down here on the ground, where they can be troll clubbed and boar stabbed, and we can put Karl to a much quicker end than last time. And just as I had hoped, Karl was that stupid. And so he rides down right in front of my trolls and boars, and I have a trap laid for him. and he is going to get stuck. And he will be beaten to a bloody pulp in a way that Grom prefers. You can see on the walls, here's the Swords of Ulrich taking on my Orc Biggins, and Swords of Ulrich, it's a pretty cool unit, I suppose, if you're playing as the Empire and not using all guns and so on and so forth. But in this case, the Swords of Ulrich are going to take a pretty massive beatdown. Cool unit, though. Look at that Frenzy. These are pretty decent for swordsmen. I mean, they're no match for the boys, but I mean, for a swordsman, pretty decent. See over here that our general has already plowed through 28 humies, another 28 here, and then our Orc Biggins here through another 29. Got 10 kills there. So the kills are mounting. And speaking of kills, Karl is attempting to escape his fate here. You can see the AI able to pull through a lot of units that you would never be able to do so very well on your own. Trying to keep up the pursuit, but the AI does get to cheese its way out of that fight with Karl, and then he's immediately going to be able, well, he actually does not get back up in the air for now. We end up catching him, so his cheesy tactics didn't work. I've got some Biggins here that I'm going to use to try and start fighting the halberds who are attacking the gates, but then they started climbing the ladders, which means I'm actually just going to send these Biggins up on the wall. And once we finish clubbing Karl, there's going to be nothing to keep me from sallying out of the gates, and Karl does manage to run away in his second attempt, because he's just that type of coward. And he is stupid enough once again that rather than flying off and learning his lesson, he lands right back in the middle of Crumpfest 2020. And crumped he will be. So he will be quickly dispatched, and then our troops are going to be able to run outside the walls. I'm moving my archers over here to get some support fire up onto the walls with my infantry. You can see here that we have a fair number of Imperial infantry here, and the halberds and stuff are better units overall. Karl has routed, and at this point all of my quick movers are headed for the gates, and they're going to turn out the gates and go clean up the remaining archers who have been under some pretty heavy barrage of my Doom Diver catapults all throughout the battle, as well as my towers where we still control them, though we did lose control of a couple of the towers just because of being outnumbered nearby by the Empire's troops. Karl managed to come back from routing once again, which, again, against all odds, the AI getting as many chances as possible, but he is so thrashed that he won't even be able to beat these archers in melee. They are actually going to beat him down, and Karl will be finished. I even had the Doom Divers take a pot shot at him, even though I know it would cause some friendly fire, just to be sure he is gone, and there goes the Emperor. Good riddance to him. And that is going to basically shatter his troops. They no longer have the will to fight. Folks, I mean, more delicious Imperial quality meat for the pot, and OK Riley, our kill scribe, had already put the Reichland at 16,402 losses as of the beginning of this episode, so you all can imagine that that number is soaring very quickly indeed. So the Empire is losing troops at a rapid pace. Alright, looks like going for Humie Pate again. This is fine, because it's just luring these armies closer to Grom so that we can kill them. Balthasar is going to get an award for this. He failed to spot Grom. Okay, I don't know how you failed to spot Grom, but Balthasar is demonstrating it. Let's kill him, and then I think that's going to be about all the time we have for this episode. So Balthasar had ordered his troops to the top of a small hill to do some scouting before they realized that that hill was Grom, and they were standing right on top of him. Or rather now that Grom was standing right on top of them, and they are utterly ambushed. Let's take a look at the Mulcher here. He's going to do some point-blank rocking. Beautiful. You see the Royal Altdorf Griffites got absolutely savaged in the first moments of the battle, completely destroyed with the help of Patchy to Stabba, who now can add some Griffins or some, what do you call it, some Griffites into his list of things that he has stabbed. Our trolls are clubbing their way through these pathetic spearmen, and Mulch is just having a fun time practicing his pitching here and using the Imperial troops as a backstop. So as he pulls off a piece of his chest and gives it a hurl, nice throw. Definitely a strike. It's right down the middle. Balthasar is busy bombarding his own troops about as much as he's hitting my troops, while also running away. Well done, Balthasar. You all can slow clap in the chat for Balthasar. The nice thing is when you kill Balthasar and you put him into Grom's cauldron, you get lots of minerals. Lots of nice metals and minerals that just do the body right. You know, I have to give the humies credit. Well, I mean, not much, but at least a little bit. They're trying to fight for their homelands. I can't say that it's going particularly well for them, but they're trying. So we got boar chariots, though I don't think we need them because our squigs are already going to be doing some pretty serious anti-large duty, so that gives us a whole bunch of boars, squig herds. I mean, is there anything else we're missing? I mean, this army should be mostly about speed. You know, what would make the most sense for this army? Got the two big Arachnarok spiders. I feel like you gotta have a rogue idol. It's just not an army without a rogue idol. I know he's not fast, but maybe he can help support the infantry component. So there we go, and we're gonna have plenty of boars. Don't worry, folks, there'll be a lot of boars there. Okay, with Grom, need to kind of decide what to do next. Humi Pate was once again retaken by the humies. Just giving the humans way more chance than they should have here. I fail to understand this. I'm gonna encircle them, and we'll take care of that on the next episode. It is time to cook. And let's go remind ourselves what the hag is looking for. The hag wants something with mucky stuff, a dish what needs free things in it. Okay, well, I'm guessing mucky stuff. There's like spider egg yolk, ectoplasm, adds 5 lava spider rider archer troop units to your regiment of renown pool. Ooh. Maternal instinct. Yeah. Let's see if she like this. This looks mucky. Mucky stuff. Yep. So we'll put that in our main ingredient. If we use this, let's see, charge bonus for boars and biggins. That army's not ready yet, or else that'd be fun. Let's use this regenerating for the gobos. This has just proven to be very, very valuable. And stunty ale, the fishy, growth, leadership, cooldown. Let's get some fun ammunition here. There's anti-large, eagle talons, is anti-infantry. Boy, I still just really like these harpy teeth ones. Well, let's try this because we got this spider stuff here. Looks like it's gonna make us a magnum pizza. I wonder though if we do something different, just to see what we come up with here. I don't think it'll change the overall. Maybe we should try something different because we want to discover some new recipes. What does the gobbo legs do? Passively berserk for all orc infantry units. It's also Magnum Pizza because it's from the same line here. Maybe a goldfish. See, that does the seafood quiche. We have done the seafood quiche before. So let's see if we can come up with something a little more creative here. Let's get the mucky stuff in here. Maybe just more mucky stuff? I don't think we can put 2 of those in. Enemy leadership. Now this would be cheesy shrooms. I don't think we've cooked cheesy shrooms before. Yeah, cheesy shrooms would be a new recipe for us to uncover as well. So let's cook some cheesy shrooms. Can we put this troll meat into here? Yeah, we can. So that'll still give regeneration to our gobos. So We got the cheesy shrooms. Let's do some cooking. This ought to make the hag happy.
It ain't worked.
This ought to make the hag pretty happy. We want something with mucky stuff, a dish what needs 3 things in it. Alright, well, I think that'll make the hag happy. Anyway, we'll check on the next one. We done cooked our cheesy shrooms, which, I mean, that just sounds absolutely delicious. I'm sure you're all watering at the mouth now, ready to dig in. I know I am, and I will see you all in the next immense episode of Grom. It looks like Scrappiest to Spider Git might get a chance to take out Volkmar. In fact, let's go lay a trap for him, get some schemes going. I mean, we now have a spider shrine mount, so this army is going to have some wonderful spider action going on. I'll see you all then. HeirofCarthage signing out.